know better. Oh man. But great win, man. I want to transition into some Knicks news, and also if you want to talk, you hit that Discord link at the top if you want to talk Knicks basketball with us and talk about the game. But I want to talk about some Knicks news today. Not even Knicks news, just some rumors that's going around. And let's talk about it, man. Zach Lavine, man. Zach Lavine is back in Rumorville. It's been reported that several teams have checked in to Zach Lavine. It's been reported by Ian last season that we've looked into getting Zach Lavine at the trade deadline. Every time Zach Lavine was mentioned, we were mentioned with him. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually checked in to see if Zach Lavine is available. Last season, I felt a certain way about it. I was actually kind of intrigued last season. This season, it's a little bit different story for me. I'm not on the bandwagon like I was last season, mostly because RJ Barrett's ascension has made that acquisition more troublesome to me than it's worth. What do you think, Ryan?
Here's the thing with Zach Lavine. Last season, I was more for it because RJ didn't show much growth throughout the season last year, and I thought that, okay, if the Knicks can get an upgrade at the wing position, they should go for it. And seeing what Zach Lavine can do on offense, prolific scorer, can score at all three levels. He seems to be the ideal fit on the wing for the Knicks to help elevate them. Now, looking at it this season, it's a little bit different because RJ has taken that leap. He has taken that step. And I think if the Knicks are going to make a move for a big name player or a superstar player, the Knicks have to make it right. Meaning they cannot mess up because you have an RJ Barrett that's actually growing and improving and took that next step. And you have a team that has chemistry, and you have a team that knows each other, and they play well off of each other. So if you're going to bring in a player, it has to be a player that fits in seamlessly and a player that's going to elevate you to a championship level. Do I think Lavine can do that? I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
Now, I think I messed around with ESPN's trade machine. I see that the Knicks could acquire Lavine if they just trade Hart, Fournier, and Josh Hart, and maybe a few first round picks. And the Knicks have a trade exception to where they don't have to match money completely. But still, it's like, would the Bulls actually take that? You highly doubt it. You think the Bulls would ask for at least an RJ Barrett or a Julius Randle or somebody else or somebody like that going the other way.
Or at least IQ.
Yeah, or IQ as
or
well.
Or Grimes, at least. Like at least.
Yeah, so I'm not for it at the moment just because of the growth I've seen with the young players on the team this season. And I don't know if Lavine would be that player to get the Knicks over the hump if they were to acquire him, especially knowing that Knicks gonna have to give up one of their major pieces to even get Lavine to come to the Knicks, for the Bulls to be even interested in trading him here.
Yeah, I agree. And I see Fritz said Bulls needs picks. I think when we talk about trades and that of that nature, we are assuming picks are involved, for sure. They would definitely need picks. I thought about it, man. I was like, man, if we can get Lavine and not give up our core, like somebody in the chat said, go for it, and it would be a fit, man. It would be a weird fit, and I'm gonna use this as an example. There was a time on the Knicks where Evan Fournier was bombing threes. Evan Fournier is not a good defender, mind you, right? He's not a good defender, but he was bombing threes, and his bad defense didn't really affect us that much. Why? Because we had other good defenders around him. Elfrid Payton, he was horrible offensively, but defensively, he was really good, and so was so it's like you can't have two minus defenders on the same team and survive. So even if we didn't give up like our core of RJ, Brunson, Randall, and we slot Zach Lavine in at the shooting guard, defensively having Brunson next to Lavine although offensively would be freaking amazing, defensively I think it would fall apart. So it would be hard for me to do that. The only way it wouldn't really fall apart is if RJ Barrett's defense is as good as advertised. Because RJ Barrett's had a good start to the season defensively, been top five. He's been top five so far in defensive rating. But he's not. Shout out to Jason. We had a debate about this, or not even a debate, just a talk. He hasn't been guarding the team's best player full time like Grimes has. You know what I mean? So it's a different type of. It's a different task when you're guarding the top player every single night, every minute. But if that's real, if that's really real, then I will be less hesitant to do it. But I'm not sure how real that is long term for RJ, being the best perimeter defender on the team on an every night basis. So I would be hesitant to do that. Plus the money, for sure. Plus the money for sure. But that's the way I think about it anyway. But I
Yeah,
like Zach. I wanted Zach Lavine here for a while, but now I feel like that shit might have passed for me.
yeah, and even if what Fritz is suggesting in the chat saying that okay, both are just interested in picks, so the Knicks don't have to give up Randall, they don't have to give up RJ, any of their main pieces to bring Lavine here. Even then, it's like you have Brunson, Randall, RJ, Lavine, all in the starting lineup together. Is there enough ball to go around for those four players as well? And that worries me as well because even though these players are not the same caliber as the players on the Clippers, but look at the Clippers.
Yeah.
They have Westbrook, they have Harden, they have Paul George, they have Kawhi. All four players are great players, but as you can see, they're struggling because they can't figure out the fit. They can't figure out how to play all of these players together and how they're gonna, rotate the minutes and things of that nature. And I don't know if because sometimes too much is too much. You know what I mean? So that also concerns me as well. But I mean, Lavine, at the end of the day, Lavine is still an all-star and he's gonna pretty much bolster any roster that he goes to.
Yeah, I agree. I'm still, and I know. Shout out to Lee who couldn't be here tonight, and shout out to Ebony as well, who couldn't be here tonight. I'm starting to really like the idea of Jerry and Grant more, man. I don't know. I'm starting. I've seen that he could play when he's not the first, second, or third option before. He's done that before. Um, and I also could see him being like a backup, like playing backup power forward minutes and sliding RJ back to the 2 or 3 and like guarding the guy. I can see Grant guarding freaking Tatum. Tatum's not gonna bully Grant. You know what I'm saying? Not Jerry and Grant. I'm sorry.
Nah, definitely not Terry and Grant.
I don't know why I keep saying Jerry and Grant by accident. But Jeremy Grant from Portland. My bad. My bad. My bad. But the more I think about it, he's a guy who shoots threes, can play defense from 1 to 5. He's not the best playmaker, but he's not the worst playmaker. And he can, yeah, and he's a big dude, and he can play power. He can play power forward. So I don't know. I don't know. Weirdly, some people will say he was clunky, but I think he could work. I think he could work, and he can start. And we can do the thing where we take him out early, so he can play backup power forward. And then you know what I mean. So I don't know. I feel like it could work. That's just me.
Yeah, I think with Knicks fans right now, a lot of us anyway, we see where the team is going, and it makes it hard for us to really be like, okay, should we trade for this player? Should we trade for that player based on the growth that we see with our current players at the moment? That makes it that much difficult. Like there's only a few players in the NBA where you would be like, no matter what, if those players became available, you're trading for them ASAP. You know, but I don't think Lavine, Grant, or those players are those type of players. That's actually something where you have to look at the roster construction and be like, okay, does this trade make sense? Does that trade make sense? You know what I mean? So
I agree. I agree. I agree on all points, man. Um, but yeah, keep an eye on that. We're gonna keep an eye on that. We're gonna be looking around the trade deadline to see if Lavine actually gets moved. I don't think he's coming to the Knicks. I feel like the Knicks just do this courtesy call thing, like how we called checking on James Harden, but we wasn't serious on James Harden. We was just like, yeah, how much is it? Okay. Then we held the phone. Like we weren't serious. I don't think we'll be serious on Lavine either, to be honest with you. Not at this point. Not with RJ playing the way he's playing right now. All right. Yo, in other news, the Knicks are smart. The Knicks are smart. I gotta give it to them. The Knicks are smart. Earlier this season,